Hey guys, today we're going to be comparing these three really popular air purifiers. Starting over on this side, we have the Levoit, and then in the middle, the Aroeve, and then lastly, but not least, the Tolife. These are all the mini size air purifiers, so that means that these are going to mostly be used for like maybe a home office or a bedroom. So these two over here, the Aroeve and Tolife, these are going to be good for about 215 square feet. Now the Levoit does have similar numbers, but it's a little higher. They're actually claiming that this device could clean up to 287 square feet. And that's really surprising to hear because this is actually the least powerful fan, coming in at only 7 watts. So these two fans here are more powerful and they actually seem to push out more air. So the Aroeve in the middle is 17 watts, the Levoit is 7 watts. And then over here, the Tolife is 19 watts, which is gonna be the most powerful fan of these three. And I definitely can tell the difference. Now, with a more powerful fan, you will consume more electricity per year, but these things are using such a small amount of electricity per year, I don't think you guys are gonna be too worried about it. So let's go ahead and do a sound test to see which one is the loudest, and then I'll go ahead and go over all of the features really fast on all of them. So the first air purifier that we will be testing at the max settings is the Levoit. So I'm gonna be silent just for a few moments here. All right, so keeping the audio level the exact same, we're gonna turn this one off, and we're going to turn on the Aroeve at the max setting. And then lastly, the Tolife, also at the max setting. So in terms of which one is the quietest when you guys go to the lowest setting, I would probably give it to the Levoit. It's a very quiet air purifier, and at the lowest setting, you guys can't even tell it's on. So with that being said, let's go ahead and change the camera angle and give you guys a closer look at each of these machines here. This is gonna be the most simple one out of the bunch. I'm gonna go ahead and unplug it. So we don't have a lot of settings on this one. It's basically just a power on, and this is also the actual speed selector. So you long press to turn it on and then tap it to change through these 3 speeds. We do have a change filter light indicator, which basically just turns on after so many hours of use. I have been using this filter for a few months and I just cleaned this one out, but it definitely does a good job at collecting all of the dust in the air in my office. Something else that I find myself using a lot is this essential oil pad. So you guys could put like 3 or 4 drops of your favorite essential oil right there and stick this in. And if you guys do that at the beginning of your day, all of the air is going to basically just get pushed out of here with that smell, and it does a great job. So overall, a really solid, quiet air purifier, and it's also very easy to find more of these filters. All right, next up we have the Aroeve, and this one definitely has some more features to offer. So just like the other one, we do have an air purifier like foam tab here. So once again, you could put 3 or 4 drops of your favorite oil there. I will say that this lid is a little flimsy, so just be careful with that. Down here, we have the speed. So we have the nighttime, 1 and 2. So when you first press it, it goes automatically to 1, which is going to be your slower setting. 2 is pretty fast, and it definitely supplies some ambient noise. So that's good for night if you guys like a fan. Then lastly, this is the sleep mode. So if you guys don't like noise, you guys can press that and it automatically turns off the lights that are on the bottom and top of this, besides this light, of course. Next up, we have the filter indicator light. So right here, that'll turn on if your filter needs to be changed, not to be confused with this button I pressed up here. This button up here is for lighting. So if you tap that, you guys could see different lighting effects. We have like a purple light down here. It's kind of hard to see during the day, but it is very dim. I turned off most of the lights and it's still pretty hard to see it. You may just see a very, very faint light glowing through there in the bottom, but the top does have a blue light as well. That does look pretty cool. And then on the very, very top of here, we have the timer, and we have 6, 12, and 24-hour timer. Oh, and I almost forgot, before we move on, I need to show you the filter on the Aroeve. It's a very similar size to the one in the Levoit, and this is about like, I would say a month worth of dust. So I definitely need to clean this out. All right, so now moving on to the Tolife. This one's really cool and modern looking and is one of my favorites. Let's look at the filter first before I forget. It's right here on the bottom. And this one has been used the least. It's the newest one of the bunch. but I definitely still like this, and I'm probably going to be using this one the most. So the actual intake has this really cool geometric design here that almost looks three-dimensional. I really like that intake, and it's the same on the back, so it gets plenty of air. Just like the Levoit, we have a very similar oil diffuser tab right there, but on the top here, we have this really cool screen. So if you guys press this, you'll notice this green ring, which basically just means that the air is okay to breathe. Eventually, this will turn red, and that means that you guys need to change the filter in your air purifier. You guys can turn off all the lights for nighttime, or you guys could just press the night mode right there, which will make this really quiet and also turn off all of the extra lights. Here's how you change the actual fan speed, and this is by far the most powerful of the bunch. Of course, we have the power button, a timer that goes up to 12 hours, a lock button just to keep kids away from this, and then we're back to the light. This one's my favorite because of the way it looks and how powerful it is. I personally like sleeping with some noise at night, so I like that, and it also just matches the modern look of my gaming room, especially with the screen up top. All right, so there you guys have it. That is my comparison between these three air purifiers. I think they all do a great job, but if I had to choose a personal favorite, it's probably gonna be the Tolife, just because it is slightly more powerful, and I love the modern design and the screen on the top. I definitely enjoy both of these still, and I still use these in other rooms to this day. So these are still great options, especially if you guys like the way that these look. They match your room better than the Tolife one, then I think you guys are gonna make a good choice as well. So that is it for this air purifier comparison.